Hello everyone, this is Sumit and this is the fifth video of pygame tutorial series, and this is also the part 1 of our game. First we are gonna make a game, so let's get started. So this is a game called connecting the dots or join the dots or line versus line, whatever you want to call it, that I have played lots with my friends. So I'm gonna draw dots of 4x4, and suppose there are two players are playing this game, and then both players have to join the line one by one, and if any player will be able to make a box, then that box will be given to that player. So let's first select the line. Okay, that's there. Suppose first player draws this line, and then second player draws this, and then again first player draws this, and again second player, and then for first player, if first player draws this line, that's not a good idea for that. Then second player will be able to make a box. So suppose first player draws the above line, then the box is given to a first player, let's say p1 to that box, and then again the current turn is continue to player 1, then he also do the same thing for that for another box, and he draws another line, and this will be continue for the whole game. So if I hope you have understood the whole game. If you have any doubt related to this game, you can comment me, I will reply. And I'm gonna name it line versus line, or join the dots is also, I mean, better than line versus line. So we'll see in the code. So I have named that file line versus line 1.py. Now let's import the pygame, and then let's initialize it, and then we have to define the screen. And in mobile phones the screen is not working properly, so it takes the whole area, and I hope you have seen lots of time it takes the whole area. So let's suppose it's 1000 and 1000, and then what we are gonna do, we are gonna get the width and the height from the screen. So then we will be able to access the width and the height of the actual screen, so using get width and get height. And then we have to define the caption, that should be line versus line, so I'm gonna give it a name, line versus line. And then I'm gonna define a whole game inside a function, let's say hero page, because we are gonna make a first hero page where we are gonna introduce our game, and then we will say let's start the game and whatever it is, and other things also. So let's say hero is equals to true, and then while hero, we will play the game, or we will run the while loop. I'm gonna write up some basic code, so let me do it quickly. Then we have to introduce that function inside our program. So let's say hero underscore page, and here I'm also define the background color here. That should be screen dot fill, and inside that that should be I think 100 comma 100 comma 100. So let's see how does it look. Okay, there is an error, I have forgot, and I'm in a opening bracket, and let's try again. Okay, there is a problem with some set caption. Okay, I have forgot to write display here, so let's run again. And now that's the color that we are going to use, but I think we should use 170 170 170. I think it looks much better than before. And now I'm gonna introduce some fonts with different sizes. So let's say font using pygame.font.sys font, and I have written font 96 because I'm gonna use 96 here. That will be the font size. Now I'm gonna use that font, so let's try it. Using font 96.render, then we have to pass the message. That should be line versus line, and I'm going to store that value inside head underscore image because it returns image like substance or image like object, and the color should be black. And then I'm going to take the rectangle of the image, so we would be able to change the position of the rectangle. So let's say dot center equal to 100, 100, and then we are gonna build that image on the screen. And there is an error because F should be capital, and now we have to change the position. So let's change the center and let's say 500, or I think we have to use the width and the height, and let's say width divided by 2, and there should be a height divided by 4, and let's check. And the value here I have to use 3, and now it looks much better. Okay, now let's initialize some more fonts. So let me do it quickly. Now I think we should write some description under that heading. So let's copy it and paste over here, and let me change something from there. So instead of this head I have written dash, and now I have to change this. I think we should change the title of the game. That should be join the dots, or you can tell me in the comment section what should be there. So I'm gonna write join the dots here, and I will also change the name of the file. I will do that later, and we should also change the caption of the file. I mean caption of that game. So let's do it quickly. Now we have to change the position of that. So let's change it to, let's say I'm gonna have plus 100 to the height, and that's not looks good. Okay, now that's the problem. So now let's test it again, and now let me adjust this. Now it's the time to make a start button right under the description. So let's first I have to make a rectangle, then I will put the text inside that rectangle. So let's say start button rectangle, and we will use this start button rectangle later, so that's why I have given the name start button rectangle. First argument should be screen, and then the color should be white, and then the position where we going to show that, and then the line width and the border radius. It looks much better, and now we have to introduce the text inside that rectangle. So let's say start button text equal to font dot render, and inside that we have to define the text and the true. And don't worry about this true because that's not a big thing. I have read about it, and it's a big thing, but for us that's not a big thing because it's little bit confusing for the beginners, and if you want to know you can Google it. So I have used that start button rectangle right over there, and we will also use inside the mouse events because we want to click that button. So that's why we will use that, and we will see it later. So I think that's the problem. And yeah, I have forgot to get the rectangle from the text, and that's it. As you can see, it's working properly. And now let's introduce the mouse event to get the click on that button. So first we have to define that mouse event. If event.type equal to pygame.mouse button down, and get the position of the mouse using the event.pos, and then we have to check is it on the start rectangle or not. So I'm gonna check the first value, that is a x value, and that is on the first position of that list, and then we will check it should be greater than the x value, the x position, starting position, and also we will check the y value, that should be greater than the y value or the starting value of that rectangle, starting position of that rectangle. So let's say event.pos, and inside that we have to pass the 1, and I'm gonna copy that and paste right over there. And then we also have to check it is not exceeding it is not exceeding the width of the rectangle. So we have to start button rect.x and plus bit, it should not be greater than that width. So we can check that click, and we will also do the same thing for the y. So let me quickly do it. And now if someone would click that button, then I will call the function called man screen, and we have to write that function. So let's say man underscore screen, and then we are going to define, let's say while man is true, we will run the program, and we will fill the screen with screen.fill, and I'm gonna give it a color green so we can check it's working or not. And then we will say pygame dot display dot update, and then we also have to flip the screen. And I think I did not introduce the clock here, so I have to introduce that, and then we will use this clock inside this function so we can control the frame rate. So let's say 30, and yes, working, and I will also use that clock inside there, so I have to use that after that. And now let's check it's working or not, and it's working properly. So that's enough for this video. See you in the next one. In the next video we'll see much more about that. So take care, bye bye.